should. Hello, everybody. This is at the underscore Rick Grimes and at Rick Taters. We are actually discussing The Walking Dead right now, so I decided to make a video. And I've been wanting him to guest in the video for a while now, but he said no because he hates me. I'm just kidding. But okay, we were talking about it. We were talking about the first episode, really, and how they make Rick get to Atlanta really quick when it would have took, a bit longer. They kind of sped that journey up.
Especially by horseback.
Especially by horseback, yeah. They sped that journey up. But, whatevs, because he's in Kentucky and not...
I'm fairly certain Kentucky
He's
is
fairly certain Kentucky. If we're wrong, our bad. But, let's face it, Walking Dead has plenty of plot holes in the writing. No offense, great show, but there's plenty of, it's no Supernatural. I'm pissing people off. No, I'm kidding. But I'm sorry, Supernatural had my heart first. I'm sorry, guys. But I do love The Walking Dead. And we were discussing it, and then we talked about, Glenn with his car, right?
Yeah.
Super loud, drawing zombies near. Now, nobody blames Glenn for the walkers going to the camp and eating all those other survivors, but everybody blames Carl.
How did Andrea not want to whoop his ass for that? Because she lost her sister in that.
Yeah, so why is Glenn not getting any blame for that, but Carl gets blame for not killing a walker that was stuck in mud
Carl
when he saw it?
Should be blamed for everything.
I don't think so. See, I don't think Carl should be blamed for that. I don't agree with that.
He should have stayed in the
child.
house.
Well, even if he would have stayed in the house, that zombie would have got free. Daryl would have went off to go look at a dead cow for some reason.
Yeah, but Daryl would have done something. Daryl would have taken him out.
Dell would have seen the... Yeah, Daryl would have done something. Well, Daryl wasn't there. Let's blame Daryl for not being there to kill the...
Don't blame Daryl. Let's take Carol route. Let's just blame Rick for everything.
Let's do the Carol route and blame Rick for everything.
I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad Andrea's gone.
I'm glad Andrea's gone.
I'm glad Lori's gone.
I really, really did not like Carol until season 3.
When we found out she had the short hairs?
Yeah, when you found out she wasn't a lesbian. I'm just kidding.
I still think she is.
I'm joking. But, yeah, she was, well, she just unfairly blamed Rick. Well, I notice a lot of people on Twitter do, too. Like, anytime Rick makes a decision they don't agree with, they're like, oh! I'm like, guys, I would make the same call. I would have kicked her out of the group.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you were lying if you say you wouldn't do the same for fear of your children or your family or your friends. Come on, you would. If not, maybe you shouldn't have any family or friends.
Yeah, really.
I'm sorry. I get why she did it. I'm not saying she didn't have a valid reason. It's just the way she went about it was wrong.
No, you don't kill somebody. They didn't know that couldn't be cured.
Yeah,
they had one death. They had one death by it.
True. That's true. And look at Herschel. He's keeping people alive pretty well.
He got coughed in his face on by Dr. X.
Yeah, he's immune. I'm pretty sure he's immune from it. Everyone's like, he's sick. I'm like, I doubt it.
And
he would be showing signs if he was by now.
Is it just me? Did you think of Batman, the Batman video game, when he broke Dr. S's arm in the jail cell? Like, he runs up to go get the shotgun, and then Dr. S starts reaching for him. He grabs Dr. S's arm and just snaps it.
Yeah, he's just a badass. I'm sorry. In my opinion, it is.
He's like the Batman Beyond version of Bruce Wayne.
He's such a badass. I'm sorry. I think Rick and Herschel. Honestly, I'm just going to tie him for first badass because it's hard for me to pick between who's the badass between the two. Because Rick has done some amazingly badass shit, but then Herschel has survived a zombie bite.
Dude, but you don't ever put Glenn in that. And Glenn was in the fucking hole.
You're right. Glenn was in the hole. And Glenn...
At least give him most underrated badass.
Glenn will get most underrated badass. Glenn did some badass stuff. And a lot of Glenn's badass shit probably comes off camera, too, when he's, going through the cities and whatnot by himself. So I'm going to give Rick and... I think I'm going to give Rick... and Herschel tie for first. I'm going to give Merle second, just because the way he went out.
Oh, yeah,
and he survived for a while without his...
With one hand?
With one hand. Didn't bleed out on the roof. That's a badass. And then I'm going to give fourth to Glenn. And then...
It's a strong fourth.
And then fifth, probably be Daryl. I mean, he had his whole bridge scene, but it wasn't.
Dude, that bridge scene was pretty.
It was pretty badass,
And
but
then
it
he stood
wasn't
up to
like-
it, and then he stood up to his brother. I think that was the biggest badass thing he did was stand up to his brother.
Yeah, that's still lacks in comparison to surviving a walker bite or manhandling a zombie, beating a zombie with a crutch with one leg, or
Or how about Rick's first kill?
Yeah.
The little girl.
The little
The little
girl.
girl zombie.
yeah.
Because that's who I want my first kill to be.
And you got to give it to Rick. He woke up from a coma with atrophy, rode a bicycle.
He did right away.
With atrophy.
Dehydrated.
There you go, dehydrated. Rode a bicycle. You got shit going on.
He could have only been asleep. He could have been only out of it for about 3 days though, because after 3 days, your body you die. You get so dehydrated, your body shuts down.
Well, if his IV was still working.
Yeah, but
might have kept
the
him
IV's not. It's not. The
hydrated.
IV's not going to go for like 2 or 3 days or even weeks. It's
That's
just going to
true.
be.
Yeah.
That IV would have been done.
He couldn't. Yeah,
at the
he
end of the
couldn't have
day.
been in a coma very long. Like I remember talking. What it might have been you and me. We were talking about the Telltale's game
Yeah.
and weird where it took place and like how people assume Rick is still in a coma throughout the game, and I'm like, no, he would be awake,
Mhm.
and he would be like by the time it's like winter and they find that farm, they're probably already at Herschel's farm or about to be at Herschel's farm in the comic. So like it,
Yeah, because
in
in the
Rick
comic
is-
they didn't stay. They didn't stay at the Atlanta camp very long.
yeah, and Rick was out before winter anyway, so. Like it was just starting to get winter, so
Speaking of
Rick
the
would be
comic,
out.
I would love to see Negan get introduced into the show. I know you don't care for Negan.
Ah, I think he's
I
so
think
annoying.
He's the most
You
awesome bad guy ever.
Fucking fuckity fuck or whatever. He's so stupid. He's just an idiot. Is my issue. Like he's an idiot. He's a big dumb guy.
I like him.
Like he's stupid. Like his writing. I think it's just the way he's written. I think it's just dumb. Like I don't know.
Dude,
Oh, I got a baseball bat.
what's the dad's name though? I can't
Luis
remember.
or
Yeah.
Lucille. Or
Lucille,
something
that's
like
it.
that.
Lucille. God, man, I would love to see him introduced. Because
Well, what's his name wanted to? Glenn Azaria or Mazzara or however you say his name, the showrunner of season 3. He
Yeah.
wanted to like off the governor and then bring in Negan, but
That would've been
they were
so
like
awesome.
no, and he wanted
Gimple
to keep
popped
Judith
in.
alive, but they were like no. So Judith is probably going to die, which I think they should bring Glenn back or that not Glenn, but the original showrunner back. They need to bring him back. He was the shit. I'm
Well, he
sorry,
wasn't
season
even-
4
he wasn't
already
even in
doesn't
the-
compare to season 3.
He wasn't even the original showrunner.
yeah, I know.
Darabont had it.
Yeah, I know. But like when he took over in season 2, that's when it started getting really good. And then season 3 is freaking awesome.
Did he
It's
take
him.
over? I thought
he took
Darabont
over
had it through
halfway.
season-
No, he took over halfway through. Like when it's
Is that why
stuff
Dale's dead?
picks up and Dale's yeah. And the reason like Dale the reason Shane's dead and the reason they find the prison and all that stuff is Mazzaria. If that's how you say his last name.
I don't know. I
Glenn
don't care.
Mazzaria. He's the shit. I'm a diehard little fan of him. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this one real quick and then we're gonna start the next one.